Once upon a moonless night in a sleepy town nestled deep in the heart of the misty mountains, there was a legend that whispered through the wind. It was the tale of the haunted train, a story that chilled the bravest souls to the bone. In this mysterious town lived a curious young man named Jack. He had heard the haunting stories of the ghostly train that roared through the mountains, carrying lost souls to their eternal rest. Jack, being brave and a little foolish, decided to uncover the truth behind the legend. One foggy evening, Jack gathered his courage and ventured into the heart of the mountains. The train tracks stretched out before him, disappearing into the thick mist. He carried a lantern to light his way, but even its feeble glow couldn't dispel the eerie darkness that surrounded him. As he walked along the tracks, Jack heard faint whispers in the wind, like mournful cries of the departed. He quickened his pace, knowing that he was getting closer to the haunted train. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath his feet, and the distant sound of a train whistly pierced the silence. With trembling legs, Jack spotted the train emerging from the thick fog. It was an old steam locomotive, its windows glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light. 3 passengers stood on the platform, waiting to board the train. Jack watched in astonishment as they appeared just like ordinary people. There was a woman in a tattered wedding dress, her eyes filled with longing and sorrow. A man in a worn suit clutched a briefcase to his chest, and his face was etched with worry. The third figure was a young girl with tears in her eyes, holding a faded teddy bear. Jack's heart pounded in his chest as the train screeched to a halt before him. The doors creaked open, and the 3 passengers turned toward him, their eyes hollow and vacant. They gestured for him to join them. With trepidation, Jack stepped onto the train, his lantern flickering in the ghostly breeze. The doors closed behind him, and the train lurched forward. Inside, the passengers stared at him, their expressions growing darker with each passing moment. The train rattled through the mountains, and Jack felt an overwhelming sense of dread. He realized that these passengers were not what they seemed. They were ghosts, trapped in an eternal cycle of sorrow and despair. As the train sped along, the passengers began to change, their forms becoming more translucent and ghastly. The woman's wedding dress dripped with blood, the man's briefcase oozed a dark, sinister liquid, and the young girl's teddy bear turned into a grotesque, snarling beast. Jack's fear grew as he realized that he was trapped with these malevolent spirits. Desperate to escape, Jack pushed through the ghostly passengers and made his way to the front of the train. He found the conductor's cabin, where an ancient, skeletal figure sat in a tattered uniform. The conductor turned to him, his eyes gleaming with malevolence. "You should not have come here," the conductor whispered in a chilling voice. "You will never leave this train." With a horrifying cackle, the conductor lunged at Jack, and the two grappled in the dimly lit cabin. In the struggle, Jack's lantern fell to the floor, shattering and igniting the cabin in a blaze of fire. The flames engulfed the train, turning it into a fiery inferno. As the train burned, the ghostly passengers screamed in agony, their wails echoing through the mountains. Jack managed to escape the cabin, but the flames roared around him, consuming the entire train. In the end, there was nothing left but ashes and charred remnants of the haunted train. Jack stumbled away from the smoldering wreckage, his heart heavy with the knowledge that he had unleashed the trapped spirit's torment. But the horror was far from over. As Jack walked away from the burning ruins, he felt a cold, skeletal hand on his shoulder. He turned to see the conductor, his form now completely skeletal and ghostly. "You may have destroyed the train, but you will never escape us," the conductor hissed, before plunging a bony hand into Jack's chest. With a final blood-curdling scream, Jack's life was extinguished, and he joined the haunted train's grim roster of lost souls. And so, the legend of the haunted train continued to haunt the town, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left undiscovered. The ghostly locomotive still roared through the mountains, its passengers forever trapped in their cycle of sorrow and despair, claiming any curious souls who dared to venture too close.